Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumptions or beliefs.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours.
How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Monday, 9th of September, 2024. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us today on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a moment and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And you know about the Book of Face.
Yeah, the Book of Face. Hit the buttons.
Just hit
Hit-
a button.
Yeah, one of the buttons. At least one of them. Whatever. Anyway.
How's
All right.
everyone's Monday?
How is everybody's Monday? Hope you had a good weekend. Had a little bit of time off. Hope it went well.
Yeah.
It was a uneventful-ish kind of weekend kind of thing, sort of. I mean, overall,
Yeah. Let's say hi to
it was the
everyone.
end of the week. It was perfect. It's exactly what it should have been.
We got Aaron in the house.
What's up, Aaron?
Let's see, a whole bunch of chatting. Got F. Clint in the house.
What's up, F. Clint?
And apparently, Aaron was not happy about his tardiness.
Whatever. Aaron just wanted to talk trash.
Ooh, smoking a roast.
I
That
know.
sounds good.
Beef. It's what for dinner. What's for
Yeah.
dinner? Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I have to go.
Yeah, then you
Just
got to
and
go a little
chat.
bit. Yeah, because there was talking and stuff.
There was.
Yeah, but the
Y'all
gist
were
of it was
having
is that beef is what was for dinner tonight.
Yes.
So
Brother
does that-
Bill's in the house.
There's Brother Bill. What's going on, Brother Bill? Hola.
Got-
¿Cómo está?
Got Chachi in the house.
What's up, Chachi? Hey, Chachi.
You're so crazy.
I know. I think Steph is next.
I'm looking. There's Miss Steph.
There's Steph. What's up, Steph? Thanks for joining. And
Got
everybody
Miss-
else.
Got
Oh,
Miss Jan.
there's Jan. Graham Jam. How you doing, Jan?
Let's see.
First on
Yep.
Twitter. You were first on Twitter. Hello to all on Twitch, Rumble, and Pill. And hello to everybody who's watching after the
Yes.
show, too. We appreciate it.
Exactly.
Make sure y'all are hitting that thumbs up, too. It really does help us out.
It really does. It really does.
Hmm.
Let's see. Let me go. Let's see.
Where are you going? Don't go anywhere. We got things to do.
No.
This is a Monday. There's stuff going on. You can't go anywhere.
Well, I have to. I have to go check out Pilled.
Oh,
Miss Bethany Ann's over on Pilled.
Bethany Ann.
F. Clint was first over on
F. Clint
Pilled
was first
after
over
me.
there. Oh, Lord. All right.
After me.
After K, of course. Yeah.
Yes. Because
Well, now we found out where F. Clint was.
there
He was marking territory over on.
on Pilled.
Pilled.
Yeah. Yeah. There's that.
There's some prime real estate over there.
Oh my gosh, she just got off.
Just got off work. Oofta. Been a month already.
already, and
It's only the 9th. We haven't even hit the 11th yet.
I know. There's Miss Jenny.
Jenny, how you doing, Jenny? I'm getting there. There we go.
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny.
A little slow on the frogs today.
That's okay.
We'll survive. I hope so. We should. I don't know.
What?
Looking. It's okay. That is second. I mean, it's first place loser.
Got Dad in the house.
Hey, Dad. Thanks for joining.
So you ready?
Yeah.
We got a lot to go.
Yeah.
over.
There's
Right before, after I'd set everything up, there's 2 videos I'm going to play because I feel like they're important. Dinesh has.
Dinesh.
Mhm,
Easy for you to say.
I know. Has a new movie coming out, and here's the trailer for it. Let's watch it.
All right.
Vindicating Trump.
Somebody has to help this country, and if they don't, the country and the world are in big trouble.
Someone's got to overturn the tables in the temple.
Trump jumping into the presidential race.
She's a bit worried.
Of the apprentice guy?
You know the feeling of power. Could you handle it or would it devour? Power.
They fear that power. You didn't do an insurrection. Had you called for one, there would have been one. And there would be one if you called for one now.
I'm not sure I want that power. I want the power just to make the country better. America first!
And that scares them.
A lot about Donald Trump scares them.
Let's look at everything. Campaign, his family. Let's get foreign eyes on him. We have one target. You know who he is.
Going after their companies, their families. That is a dictator.
It's a very dangerous time for our country.
The goal is to put him in jail because they're so afraid of his voice.
I am your voice!
You'll bury him so deep in legal, it'll bankrupt him.
Bro, got him in jail right before the election. That's
Sorry for being that guy, but isn't that election interference?
It's not interference if we do it.
We just want a free and fair election.
Sounds expensive.
Ballots ain't cheap.
Wait. Did you actually say the word buy the ballots?
We were able to purchase 10,000 ballots.
That's terrifying.
They cheat in many different ways. That's all they're good at. Ready to save democracy?
We need to stop him permanently.
And that person will be risking his life.
Too bad it's not the 60s, right?
It's the way you survived.
I said, get me up.
Trump has beaten back every attack against him.
It's like the damn Terminator. We're going to fix our borders and we're going to fix our elections. We're going to win.
This is my legacy.
Vindicating Trump.
The best is yet to come.
Only in theaters September 27th.
Thoughts?
The best is yet to come.
Mm-hmm.
I've always appreciated Dinesh D'Souza's little documentaries there. I think they're amazing. I know that he really puts a lot of research and effort into those films that he does. I mean, it's his talent and he's using it. You know, he is using his talents to the best of his ability. And that's pretty amazing. And it's amazing for the rest of us because it gets the information out there. The good news is that Dinesh D'Souza is getting the information out there. The bad news is that so many people have been so anti anything counter narrative for so long that they haven't been paying attention to the movies that Dinesh has been doing up to this point in time, like 2000 Mules. They were, used to that. And so it's probably not a bad thing for Dinesh D'Souza to put, to continue to put movies out for people to see that are talking about the truth and the way things have been playing out, because people will watch that, especially now that they're waking up regularly now. People are coming out of the sleep, coming out of the slumber, and now they're able to actually watch a documentary for the first time probably ever in their lives and actually get the good information out of it. And then they'll hopefully go back and watch some of the other ones. And I think that that's kind of part of the awakening process, because you do have to go back and look at the information that has been, because it definitely helps clarify everything that's going on in the here and now.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate that, man. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
So as far as it looks like it's going to be good. Man, I would love the opportunity to work with Dinesh D'Souza, even as just like what is it? One of those bit actors, not even a bit actor, the people that walk on. just walk in the background and shit like that. Should I do something like that?
Extra.
An extra, yeah.
Mhm.
Extra.
Oh, speaking of actors, James Earl Jones passed away today.
I know.
At age 93.
May he rest in peace.
May
And
rest in
yeah,
peace.
I love Star Wars, so like that. And of course, he did so much more, but sadly,
Yeah.
he kind of got pigeonholed into the voice of Darth Vader. But
Yeah.
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 And this is CNN.
Yeah.
Back when thank you, Aaron. Thank you.
Yeah, very sad.
Yeah, that is
Very
sad.
sad.
That is sad.
So, you ready?
Yeah.
Grant here is going to show how Google's interfering with the election through ad approvals. You ready?
Yes.
If you guys don't think election interference is real in 2024, I want you to watch this video. So we run a campaign and we're showing our viewers what they're going to get when they go to 10X Studios. The ad got flagged as ineligible. So you cannot run this ad. It doesn't fit our campaign. So we went back and we looked at it and said, oh, it's a picture of Donald Trump in there. Let's take him out and replace that image with Miss Harris. And I'm being polite when I say Miss Harris. We then sent it back to Google. We just simply replaced the Trump thumbnail with a thumbnail of her and a new title. And they approved it. Election interference, Google, you guys are nasty people.
Thoughts?
The Google doing what it's always done, but I expect nothing less from them. They are socialists through and through, and they don't know how to follow up with their own motto, as far as I'm concerned, which is supposedly don't be evil. They just forgot the don't part.
Exactly. There's,
Oh, that's right. He wasn't clear in Present Danger. I forgot about that. He was good. He was in a lot of movies.
So those were the two videos that popped up right before we went live that I wanted to go over.
Okay, makes sense.
I noticed, if you noticed in the description, the first thing I put up there is when someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time. There's a reason.
Oh, Lord. I figure as much.
You ready?
I guess so. Gulag Google. Exactly.
Exactly, Dad. Exactly.
Gulag Google.
So, listen very carefully, please.
He would use the immense powers of the presidency. Donald Trump with no guardrails. I could charge someone with the lowest level offense, and because of the swipe of my pen, they could lose time from work and their family maybe lose their job, all because of the swipe of my pen. We are all in this together. So I decided I was going to start prosecuting parents for truancy. I fought against the cartels who traffic in guns and drugs and human beings.
We're going to have 2 million people cross this border for the first time ever. You're confident this border's secure?
We have a secure border. I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border. We've been to the border. We've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. I don't. America cannot be prosperous.
America cannot be prosperous
unless Americans are fully able to make their own decisions about their own lives. Get vaccinated. She taught us to never complain about injustice. America has a long history of systemic racism.
How dare we speak Merry Christmas? How dare we?
I promise to be a president for all Americans. I will snatch their patent so that we will take over. We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. When someone tells you who they are, believe them the first time.
Thoughts?
Was that a Trump ad, like an actual ad? Wow. These are the way the political ads should have been all these years. Obviously, they never did that, but it kind of seems clear now because, well, they were all part of the same team and Trump is not. So that explains exactly why he's going for the jugular in this instance, really showing who she is. Yeah, exactly. Jenny, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she talks a lot of trash. And the thing is you really listen to what she says and you realize should be nowhere near any kind of authority whatsoever. It's just, she sure did get excited about that power of the pen, didn't she?
Exactly. Oh, yeah, she did. And what is, and I can't help it, but Charlie Brown, the teacher, whenever she's talking, that's what I hear. Wah, 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 wah.
Wah, 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 wah.
Miss Hope.
Hi, Hope. How you doing?
Miss Carol.
Carol.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to be a shit show.
It'll be interesting. I'm putting it out there right now that there will be some kind of something that might prevent it from happening. Hey, Mike. What's going on? Thanks for joining, man. Anyways, I'm putting it out there right now. I really think that there's going to be something that prevents it. Like Kamala got the sniffles or something.
Right.
Chlamydia, whatever. I mean, something that'll prevent her from doing it. They know. Okay, let's put it this way. They already knew that Trump was going to eviscerate Biden. That's why they allowed that one to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And they know that Trump is going to wipe the floor with her tomorrow, like use her as a mop pad and just clean the floors with her because she has no idea what she's doing. And so I do believe that they might, say, come up with any kind of excuse. I don't know. It's just kind of a small feeling. Dad says, don't worry, son. She won't be near any power, even if she wins. Yeah, no, she won't. But yeah, she'll definitely.
You want to read what Steph says?
Steph says, but maybe we should listen a little more closely to her. She's scary. Yes, it is scary if you actually listen to these people.
It is.
But they've always gone off of the I misspoke. But I don't think that that's working as much as it used to. Obviously, I misspoke. Bill Gates didn't mean to say that you necessarily need to reduce the population.
No, he didn't mean that at all.
He didn't mean to say that as he was funding the jab that's designed to make people very ill, stuff like that, And so as people are waking up and as people are recognizing that you really do have to listen to what they're saying, people are actually hearing it and they're like, well, yeah, I don't want anything to do with this, but this is part of the Great Awakening.
Yeah.
It is an awakening for people to finally use their ears for a change and hear what they're being told. And then recognizing that, even if it is a Freudian slip, it means that there's some truth behind it. And so no matter how accidental it was and how they didn't mean to say that, doesn't mean that that's what they really does not mean that that is not what they feel. I hope that logic's out.
There you go.
Okay. Aaron says, come on, man. Herpagonosyphilades. Yeah.
Santino says that all the time.
Gonoherpsyphilades. Yep.
Yeah. Says it all the time.
Yeah.
So I have more on Kamala. You ready? Or do you have more?
I mean, I'm never ready for more of Kamala.
I understand that.
So it really depends on what you mean by, am I ready? Am I ready for more Kamala? No.
Too bad. We're moving on.
All right. Fine.
Ready?
Yeah. Fine. Everything's fine.
Good. It's fine Monday.
Fine.
Well, this deserves a tailgate talk. So pop the tailgate down. I'll hop up on here and we'll start with this clip of Kamala talking about Elon Musk and X.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down. And they are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation. And that has to stop.
Now, if that clip doesn't scare the Wranglers right off your booty, I don't know what will. Let's start with this part.
He has lost his privileges and it should be taken down.
Now listen to me carefully. When someone in the government starts to talk to you about your privileges, that's a red flag. And y'all are all excited right now about the Reagan movie, so let's go back and see what Reagan had to say in his farewell address.
Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are. Our Constitution is a document in which we, the people, tell the government what it is allowed to do.
See how that works? You don't tell me what my privileges are. I tell you what power you have. And what do you mean by they in this clip?
They are directly speaking to millions and millions of people without any level of oversight or regulation.
So who is they? Is they Facebook and X? No. They is you. They is me. They are the people who post on social media platforms and use their voice. So what you're saying, Kamala, is that you want to regulate the speech of the people. Big red flag. Can you imagine if the government had come out and said, man, this Martin Luther King Jr. guy, he's reaching millions of people. We better put some government oversight and regulation down on his speech so that what? So that he only says things that you want him to say? I'll end with this clip, also from Reagan's farewell address, that I think sums most of this up pretty well.
We've got to do a better job of getting across that America is free. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of enterprise, and freedom is special and rare. It's fragile. It needs production. So we've got to teach history based not on what's in fashion, but what's important.
If you want freedom, you'll vote for this man. Trump 2024.
Thoughts?
The government's obviously going to see the Constitution differently, especially individuals within the government are going to see the Constitution very differently than what its original intent is. And it's a lot easier for the government to do since they have been taking away that education of what the government is supposed to be. But Reagan said it perfectly clear. The Constitution is a check on the government, not a check on we, the people.
Exactly.
And
Dad and
that's
Aaron are pretty pissed off about the word privilege and not right.
well, and the thing is the government has privileges, like driving. Okay, and this was a big thing about, do you need a license to drive on the street? And then you have all of the what is it? I forgot the name of the movement now. Because I haven't looked at it in so long, the sovereign citizen kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And,
It's sovereign citizen.
Yeah, sovereign citizen. So understanding that you're not conducting commerce while you're driving is one of the arguments that they make. But really, in the end, those are our roads. That's what our taxes go to pay for. So therefore, we do have rights to it. But the government and the agreements that were made are not being held up to the benefit of the people, nor for the good order and safety of what's going on in the roads. Because we see that our roads are turning into something that would be seen in Eastern Europe or down in Brazil or India or some other place where there's absolute chaos, because really, they can't enforce so many of the laws. It's not that the police don't want to enforce it. As a matter of fact, quite the opposite. They became officers of the law so they could make sure that the law worked for each and every person out there. But the problem is if they give somebody a ticket for hands-free driving because they got their phone up to their ear or they're sitting there texting while they're driving, that ticket gets thrown out. And it's not pursued. So why is a police officer encouraged to try to enforce the law if the courts don't care? And see, that's one of the problems is that the government has forgotten what it's supposed to do, and the people have forgotten that we are supposed to hold them accountable to us, and we need to do it a lot better than what we've done. But the people have gotten very lackadaisical in ensuring that they have their rights. But that's because we let it all go on cruise control, and we just can't afford to let the government go on cruise control, because then we end up with a Biden-Harris kind of ticket that ends up, damn near taking the whole country out if there wasn't something going on in the background to try to keep it from completely collapsing as they try to give our country away to foreign powers. And that's just not going to work. So we need to be much more vigilant, and we need to keep moving forward. Aaron says the government has privileges, not rights. Exactly. The employers of said government have rights, not privileges. Perfect. And it's way past time those dumbass employees were taught the natural order of things again. And the thing is that there's tons. I know tons of people who work for the government, and they feel like we do in so many ways, and they want to get rid of the people who take advantage of the way things have set up, so that basically people are unfireable, short of actually doing something just so blatantly egregious that they have no choice but to get rid of somebody at that point.
Right.
And that is definitely the things that needs to change, because they need to live in fear of losing their job, because it's not some handout that you get this damn job. You have that job because you're capable. You're not looking for a whole bunch of money because you care about the country, city, state, county, town, whatever it is you're working for. You get the privilege of working there. You don't make as much money, but you get all of the benefits. Now they have it set up so that way you don't have to work, you get all of the benefits, and they can't get rid of you from that gravy train job. And I know that there's great people trying to get people like that out of there, but they need somebody like President Trump in office and the people it looks like he's going to be putting in place, so that way those people don't have anywhere to go after the dust settles once it's all said and done. Aaron says at Santino, if there's not a victim, there is no crime. Show me the victim, and then there is a crime. Show me the persons whose rights were infringed upon, and I will happily show you a crime deserving of punishment. Many so-called police departments are nothing more than armed thugs of whatever regime is in power in that city or serfdom. Yeah, you know what? We should be fired up, but we're trying to temper our flame, that passion that we do have, because we recognize that doing anything from anger ain't going to work. But we do need to understand that that anger is telling us something that needs to be dealt with. The good news is it may not look like it's really being dealt with in a let's get to it manner right now, but I know that once Trump gets back into office, that will happen.
Exactly. So
That's all I got.
I got one more video on Kamala.
Okay.
Right now, anyway.
Fine.
Ready?
Oh, okay. Well, I like this dude.
Okay. Thought you might. Let's go.
I come from a long line of tough, trailblazing, and phenomenal women. My grandmother would go into villages in India, and because she was Indian and lived in India, and she would go to the villages in India. It was a famous story in our family. My grandfather would say she was going to be the end of his career, but my grandmother would go into the villages with a bullhorn, talking with the women about the need to have access to reproductive.
What a load of scum! This is the biggest bullshit I've ever heard in my entire life. Kamala, your grandmother didn't talk about reproductive health in 1960s Chennai, India. I talked to all my family members in Chennai, and they said nobody was talking about reproductive health. They told me, why the fuck would we need birth control? We are Indians. That is how we multiply. Kamala, your grandmother was getting water from the well and cutting goats' heads off to make goat curry in the village. Kamala, do you not know that your own community has to spread its seed? We are Indians. Why the fuck would we need birth control? Scum!
Thoughts?
It does sound like a scam. Like, honestly, in the 60s, in so much of the world, you're sitting there talking about birth control, and it was a much more religious world back then. But I believe that this is part of their attempt to try to change history and make it sound like this has been going on forever and a day. As a matter of fact, I think the only thing that's been going on for anything remotely longer would be the attempt to prove that the earth is actually flat, even though the globers, got their lie to stick.
They do. They
Whatever.
do. You ready?
Yeah.
Let's go.
So you're not actually being a Christian. The true Christian thing to do would be to defend those people who want to live their own lives and worship God in their own way. Where is the love that you're supposed to be addressing me with? You're acting unchristian. That then say that these children who are made in the image of God, you want to get absolutely they are, should be allowed to be violently and
listen, this is going to step on some toes, but just because the Bible says we are to love one another does not mean that it's the type of love that encourages you to destroy life. Would you show love to your best friend with an eating disorder by encouraging them to keep going because it makes them feel better? Because they have a better perception of who they are in their mind by the way they've decided to consume food? Or would you tell them you need to stop because you're destroying yourself? Everyone is so damn worried about offending everybody else that no one wants to tell anybody the truth anymore. This world is so full of lies and manipulation and distractions that you may be the only truth that somebody gets to hear. So love them enough to tell them the truth that what they're doing is destroying themselves and they're destroying another life. The responsibility, the onus is on the man and the woman. It takes two to tango in this situation, right? And there are so many people in this world who regret the decision to have an abortion because they realize what they've done when they made a decision out of convenience. Love people enough to tell them the truth. Defend them if you have to.
See, when I was watching this earlier today, that was one of the questions that I had was, the Bible says, love your neighbor as you love yourself. And that made so much sense to me, what he said. I can love you, but that doesn't mean that I have to buy into your mental illness or your craziness because I love you. And because I love you, I'm going to tell you the truth. And when it comes to abortion, I'm going to tell you, you're fucking stupid. You did this. You decided to lay down with someone. So have responsibility. And if you don't think that you can take care of the child, there are plenty of people out there that are dying to have kids. And plenty of lawyers that can work that together. This is ridiculous. I am so sick and tired of all this mental illness. In fact, I have another video coming up here shortly where a guy takes on someone with mental illness. And you know what? It gave me hope. So, thoughts, Santino?
We need to be able to speak up. It's if you are convicted to tell somebody what you feel inside and what like the Bible, your understanding of it, and you feel like you need to say something, by all means say something, because there is a freedom of speech and you're trying to help somebody see something that they wouldn't see otherwise. And you never know that you might be the only one that has the right combination of words to get somebody to open their heart a little bit and recognize, especially in the abortion realms, like you might just save a life, right? And that is one of the things that we should do. It has been so normalized. It has been so pressed that, especially with the abortion thing, they really want to just unalive babies all over the place. And I understand that they feel like, that they were backed into a corner, or they want people to agree with the things that they've done in the past, not recognizing that there is forgiveness. It's like you can be forgiven like for everything. You just need to repent. And that repentance is recognizing what someone has actually done when they do decide to do an abortion. And it's really sad, but it shows how far we have fallen from what the moral compass of this nation truly has been and was. So we have to speak up. And even if we are going to offend somebody, and I know that I have a trail of people behind me because I opened up my mouth, I upset people because I said how I saw it. They didn't like it. we don't talk anymore. But it's like, I don't know how to keep my mouth shut, just in case y'all couldn't figure that one out. I don't know how to keep my mouth shut when there's something that I feel inside. It's like wearing a wool sweater without anything in between me and all the itchy ass wool. It just like makes me crazy. I got to do something about it, which means that I need to say something. And we should all feel compelled to be able to speak our hearts and to speak our minds in a manner that would be received well by other people. Are we always going to make it received well by the hearer? No, we're not. It takes lots of practice and it's probably never going to be perfect, but we should always feel like we need to speak out, especially when it's something that we are being, I guess, inspired to say.
Jenny says part of the problem is that people aren't held accountable and they're making evil look good and good look evil.
That's their trick.
Yeah.
That's their trick. That's how they do it. But
yeah.
That happens because good people kept their mouth shut.
Yeah.
And we can't afford to any longer.
Yep. Steph says, I understand that there is real mental illness out there, but I also understand there's a mental illness that is used to get their way, to manipulate their way into getting what they want.
Mm-hmm.
And
I mean, that's, yeah.
Yeah. And Jan,
that's what people do.
Yeah. Jan says, if they get you to accept it or anyone against God's will, then they will be okay. And it will be okay. Never. Mm-hmm.
Never. Yeah, exactly, Aaron. It's better to put your cards on the table and work it out than to bluff.
Exactly.
Trying to save the friendship. Maybe I can, inspire you further down the road or something like that. But sometimes you really gotta, just put your cards out on the table. Here's what I got. And you may not like it, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Que sera, sera.
Yep.
Whatever will be, will be. All right.
Okay, so I have Preston and I have two videos because they go together. So I'm going to play both of them before I get your thoughts. You ready?
Yes.
Okay.
You know, you say here is so incredibly sad, but at the same time, it's never been more true. Americans today are tired, physically tired, financially exhausted, spiritually tired, mentally tired. It is a combination of the last 4 years of their very own government turning their backs on them and walking away, only to put their own personal priorities ahead of every single American. You know, in the moment of exhaustion, I believe you have two ways of going. You can either A, just go to sleep, or B, you can stand up and you can fight back. And that is exactly what I am seeing today from Americans all across this great country. They have been awakened by the Democratic machine. They are seeing the truth behind the lies that Kamala Harris and the Democratic mob have been telling the American people for the last 4 years. See, President Trump is not perfect. I would never claim that he was. But President Trump is the only individual who has ever ran for office in my lifetime that has chosen to put his own personal finances and his own personal reputation to the side for the American people. Not once, not twice, but now for the third time. And I genuinely feel in my heart and my spirit, and from what I see across this country, Americans see it just like I do. Every single American, including yourself, ma'am, when you feel that level of exhaustion creep in, know one thing. Know that there are individuals 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, fighting around the clock for you and every other American to make sure that we not only bring back safety to this country on November 5th, but we bring back the American dream to the Americans who so well deserve it, and we bring back prosperity. And I promise you, we're going to do it. Much love, God bless, and keep the faith.
Okay, next video. Hold on 1 second. I know you're making notes. Ready?
Yes.
I'd be lying if I said that this wasn't one of the toughest weekends I've experienced in politics. Just a few days ago, I posted a video responding to a comment that said, America is tired. What I was never prepared for were the comments in that video and the hundreds upon hundreds of private messages I've received of individuals across this country who were not only tired, but simply struggling to survive. Those comments and messages, as I've described this weekend, literally feel like 10,000 pounds of steel set upon my shoulders. While I know Americans are struggling every single day, there's something about reading those messages and reading those comments that literally took everything out of me. Frankly, it made my heart hurt far more than what I ever thought was possible. I found myself not even able to find anything positive to say this weekend as I was interacting with friends and colleagues. My heart was heavy. My shoulders were weighed down, and I just wanted to retreat in silence. So as I prepared to make a video tonight, I had absolutely no idea what I was going to say. Quite frankly, there was no positivity. I was depleted. And then I came across this creator who I found a couple of years ago. But what I was not expecting was for her voice, her song, and her anointing to give me every ounce of renewal I need to keep fighting this fight. What's interesting is she sang the song and posted the video back in August. It just happened to be one of the first few on my FYP tonight. But what's even more unique is the song she's singing in this video is the exact song that was playing on January 15th, 1995, when as a small child, I approached a really big altar in a really big church, and I hit my knees and I received the beautiful gift of the Holy Spirit. So Amber, I tell you this, what you may not realize when you put out these beautiful songs and you sing from the heart is that the anointing of God is all over everything that you do. And it shines further than you could ever imagine. To anyone who needs love, encouragement, or just a simple good cry, and to be reminded that God is in control, please go give her a follow. Show her some love, because she absolutely deserves it.
Love that Jesus shed for me way back on Calvary. It's the blood that gives me strength from day to day. It will never lose its power, for it reaches the highest mountain. Oh, and it flows to the lowest valley. Oh, the blood that gives me strength from day to day. It will never lose its power.
Thoughts? She has a set of pipes on her. That's awesome. That's amazing. That takes me off into a sidetrack altogether that's a little bit separate from the theme of what we have going on here. But I'm going to start with this first, and that is the fact that Americans are tired. Boy, are we tired. Sick and tired. So tired. Sick and tired of being sick and tired at this point in time of everything that's going on. And we recognize that the election was stolen and everything surrounding that. It can really wear on you, and it makes it, makes it difficult because we don't know what's really going to happen come this November. And so, yeah, it can grind you down. It can really grind you down. But I noticed something when he was talking, and it was factual. The way he said it, he already knows. And I don't believe it was so much wishful thinking, so much as that voice deep down inside that's telling him that, what was it? I don't want to butcher it. We're going to do it, is what Preston said. We're going to do it. We're going to win, and we're going to fix all of this stuff. It was beautiful, Bethany. We, the American people, are going to fix this, and that there are people that are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to make sure that America will be safe, that there is a continuity of what the American Republic is supposed to be, is going to carry forward in the future, and it will be stronger than it has been. But I do believe a lot of the stuff that Q was saying in terms of, you can't tell people, you have to show them. People have to be uncomfortable. People won't people won't find the willingness to change until this was another Q one, until basically everything sucks, is what it boils down to. So yeah, it's going to have to suck, and we're going to have to be stressed out, but this is where we build our faith. And this is a faith building exercise, which brings us to this lady that was just singing there. Man, what an amazing voice. And people like her have been prevented from moving forward in life merely because of her appearance. I'm going to put that one out here right now, that no matter how good her voice is, they would rather put a Madonna up there who can't sing, who can't dance, has no talent, and really has her talents are along the lines of Kamala Harris. And so that's why we get what we get. Something pleasing to the eye-ish, supposedly, whatever. And then just the sheer lack of moral compass. Whereas this woman has a moral compass. She's doing the best she can. She's prevented from getting to the place where we could all hear her voice on a regular basis on the radio stations, on MTV, whatever. You know, if it was all done the way it should have been done, we'd love to hear that voice. And so I believe, and I have hope moving forward in the future, that people will be given the opportunities based off of the talents and abilities that they have, so that way America can get one step closer. These are all one little tiny steps that will get us closer to being the nation that God intended us to be, which is we are in love, working together, and that the best of whatever profession it may be are the ones who are finding their way, climbing to the top, because they are the most capable, most talented, most gifted, and most dedicated to that line of profession.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I know that it's tiring now, but I also believe President Trump's when he said that you're going to get tired of winning, and we're going to say at some point in time, we're tired of winning so much. I look forward to that day, as I'm sure each and every one of y'all are. But I do know that that is going to happen, because I feel it in my heart of hearts that that's exactly where we're headed. We just got to go through hell before we can get to heaven.
Amen. You ready?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow. Towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept. I'm interrupting this commercial to let you know you can get our 6-piece My Towels, regular $69.98, now only $29.98. Or you can save 25% on our brand new kitchen towels, made with the same technology as our famous My Towels. Also, we have bath sheets, bath towels, washcloths, hand towels, and so much more. And the best part, with your promo code, your entire order ships absolutely free. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use that promo code to get deep discounts on all My Towels. And for a limited time, your order ships absolutely free.
You want to talk about our towels?
I do want to talk about our towels. I was just waiting for you to say something. Say something.
Because I washed them last night, and I used it this morning. It was so soft.
Towels she's talking about. Yeah. So I don't know what kind of voodoo wizardry they have, or if they're, rubbing them on the foundation stones or whatever the case is.
Me too, Carol.
But for some reason, they're getting softer. The towels are getting softer and they're getting more absorbent. So just in case because I heard that the old, like the earlier towels, they weren't so hot, but apparently these new towels are an order of magnitude better.
They're amazing.
Yeah, these towels are amazing. I cannot tout them enough. And if you needed any more reasons, and probably the real reason why we should go look at Mike Lindell over at at mypillow.com/DTOO is the fact that the man put his life, his fortune, and his sacred honor on the line. What more American thing could somebody do? He has been abused and attacked, nowhere near as bad as President Trump, obviously.
But pretty darn close.
But pretty darn close, because they're definitely trying to take him out through lawfare. We know that. They need our support. Because these are the people that are in the crosshairs, quite literally in some occasions. And they need that support so that way they can fight the fight that we are all trying to fight, but they can be in the position that they're at. And they will have that ability to make that voice heard a lot more. So yeah, if you're in the market for towels or anything that My Pillow has to offer, please check them out. If nothing else, you're helping a solid American there with Mike Lindell and his company. And I can't think of a better thing with which to put your money towards at this point in time, especially when everybody's got everything so tight. And if you can't, don't feel obligated. It's not that big of a deal. It's not required. You don't have to buy something from Mike to kick it with us. We love you either way. We're just putting it out there because that's the guy we like. We use the products, and that is so we can say, good product, good person, please do that. That's simple. Anyway, yeah. So
you ready?
Check out mypillow.com/DTOO.
Dad, I knew YouTube would. That's just who they are. He needs to go to Rumble.
Yeah, he does need to go to Rumble. Truthville, USA. Yeah. People, some of these people need to start migrating so that way they have the ability to keep all their videos up, because I don't know if y'all heard about this or not. Do you have anything about Brazil cutting Rumble?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No? Oh, okay.
Joking.
So, yeah.
Joking.
Well, I mean, there's so much stuff going on.
I know. It's mypillow.com/DTOO, Aaron. Yeah, just DTOO. I made it easy. I didn't want the whole thing spelled out.
Yeah, no need to type all that stuff out.
No.
Anyway, so yeah, Rumble's a great spot. Pilled is a great spot.
Oh, yeah.
People need to migrate over to Pilled as well. And X, obviously, now that we know that Elon Musk is very much a free speech person. I appreciate the large amounts of people that go to some of those other platforms, and those platforms play a role. But those platforms are, I have a feeling, going to go the way of legacy media or MySpace or AOL or all of these giants that we thought were never going to go away, and you don't even know who they are anymore. Or at least the kids don't even know who they are anymore. So you know what? If they're supporting free speech, which is why Rumble got kicked off in Brazil, you know what? At least Rumble's staying true, and they just won't show anything in Brazil.
Exactly. You ready?
Yeah.
George Magazine.
Well, we decided, I mean, actually taking cue from folks like yourself and you around the 1992 election.
Thoughts?
Okay, so what happened with the pie? I'm not.
Add 3 plus 14.
Oh, okay, 17. I got you. Okay, because I was trying to do math over here too. I was like, what are we getting at? But okay, so I mean, you can put that together. I mean, it doesn't specifically look like a Q, but we also know that Junior was the one who started George Magazine, and we know that George Magazine has put information out there that would be of interest to people who are of the kind of opening your eyes kind of persuasion, 17th letter-ish kind of stuff.
Well,
So,
here's the
I mean, it
thing.
makes sense.
I saw a video this weekend.
But it's kind of quiet.
From Right Side Blonde. That's who that was. Who used to work at George Magazine. And she had put on there that he named it George so that everyone would know who killed his dad.
I could see that too.
Very interesting, isn't it?
Very interesting. There's a lot of these are more deep rabbit holes, and
Oh, yeah.
you know, and there's a lot of assumption that can go on with some of these things. But you know, I can kind of see how one got to the other and how you can make those connections, because in the end, a lot of these connections are tenuous at best, and these tenuous connections definitely give some deniability, which would be the purpose. Is you want to no, that's not what we meant. These are just crazy conspiracy theorists.
Right.
Easy, you know. So they throw some people under the bus, but are they really throwing anybody under the bus? No, they're not. What they're doing is they're doing the distraction for everybody, and that's what kind of works out. So do I believe that George has been doing comms? Yeah, I do. But good luck trying to prove all that.
Exactly. You ready?
Yeah.
I need everyone to listen to this because I know we've all need to hear this. So please listen.
All right.
Ready?
Yep.
To the one who is hurting the most, on behalf of God, I bring you good news today. There is a Savior that has been born. And when you know him and accept his love and his goodness, you will never be the same. If you feel it under the surface every now and then, where do I stand with God? I want to show you the incredible, indescribably good news of a God who loved you so much that he sent his one and only son, Jesus, born of a virgin so he would not inherit the sin nature, who gave his life for you so you could be right with God.
Thoughts?
Salvation is something that can be difficult to comprehend in a lot of ways. But at the same time, I think it's because we try to make things a lot more complicated than it is. And there's a lot of questions that are brought up. Why would he send his only son to die? Look, I understand where you're coming from. You know, I talk to people who aren't exactly believers, but I try to get them.
Craig Groeschel.
Yeah, Craig Groeschel. He's amazing, and he's on the YouVersion Bible app. He's got all sorts of lesson
Bible
plans,
studies,
Bible studies in there, and he's really good. He's an amazing speaker. I really like Craig Groeschel a lot. But anyways, we try to make things more complicated than they really are, but that's because of our human nature getting in the way. But then again, that also explains why Jesus was perfect, because he wasn't born out of that sin, just like he was talking about. Like there's so much more, and people aren't willing to wrap their head around what's being said in the Bible as much as they're willing to wrap their head around all of the other distractions that are put in the world in front of us. Surprise, surprise. That's why it's done, because these distractions keep you from getting that connection to our creator that we're here to be getting. But that salvation is exactly what we're looking for. And once we recognize that we are saved and that it has absolutely nothing to do with what we have done,
none of our deeds,
not a single deed had anything to do with any of our salvation, right?
Yeah.
But I do feel blessed in getting to this point in my life.
Mhm.
And this is something that obviously it feels good. It lifts your spirit. It lifts your heart. It lifts your mood. It changes everything in your life. And that's why we want other people to feel this way. And it also makes it a lot easier to not have to 70 times 7 forgive people all day, every day, because their focus is on things that aren't important in life. But again, we got nothing else to do with our time, so we may as well try to help everybody else out around us.
Amen. You ready?
Yeah.
I got sassy.
Sassy.
So earmuffs. You ready?
Yeah.
Are we just going to pretend y'all ain't the party and talk shit? Talked about every Republican like dogs, orange mad bad for 4 years. They're monsters. They're killing the elderly. Insurrection in my panties. Oh, now it's why you got to talk about the other side. Oh, no. Liberals. I would rather you just tell us why you plan to vote Republican. Oh, like I ain't been doing that. Wow. You want me to tell you with facts? Oh, now y'all care about those. Okay. Talking bad about the opposing side. Reasons I don't like Democrats. Number 1, Democrats are hypocrites. Number 2, see number 1. What part of I hate that kind of Republican did you not understand about my beaches the other day? I ain't over here doing fucking Republican Reiki. Kill your own damn self. I ain't my damn job. Let's do it like this. First thing. I ain't your mommy. I ain't your daddy. I ain't your granddaddy. I ain't your grandman. I ain't your brother. I ain't your brother cousin. I ain't nothing to you. I ain't your fucking political teacher. Try the Google. Find a quarter. A working payphone. Find a Republican who cares. Cause it ain't me. I hate hypocrisy. That's all a liberal is. If you can't figure that out from my BGs, you ain't got a political problem. You got a comprehension problem. Seeing as you got nurse in your name, that damn concerned me. How you take orders if you can't comprehend. Dance like this. You don't have to agree with me. That's the beauty of living in this country. Don't pretend like you don't get it. I'm tired of you liberals acting like you can't see it. Pretend like you don't see the hypocrisy in your own party. Don't pretend you don't see how you cry about gun violence and cheer when the president's shot. Pretend like you don't see how this country is right now. Don't pretend like you didn't see how Cray Cray Joe was. Don't pretend like you don't see how unqualified cackling Kamala is. Don't pretend like you don't see this administration leading us straight into World War III. Don't pretend like you don't see the brain rot society has right now. It's GT theories, CRT theories, blah, blah, blah. It's called get off your ass. Stevie Wonder see that shit. Hey, Charles, Helen Keller. Stop acting like you don't see the witch hunt of a man everybody loved before he became president. Stop acting like Project 2025 has a damn thing to do with Trump. But the left keeps lying. Even CNN corrected y'all. And y'all still damn lying. You got 2 of these. Pretend they work. Or pretend like you ain't seen how bad inflation is. Price of groceries, the price of bread. Oh, they've been in charge 12 to 16 years. Don't try to pretend that somebody can be a kangaroo with chlamydia just because they think they can with half a dictionary of verbs and adverbs to address them. Pretend like you got pandemic amnesia. You don't remember nothing that happened over the last 4 years. Baby, we all remember. We remember. Remember the hate y'all spewed. Shoe on another foot now. Fuck off. With y'all's my body, my choice bullshit. And then, oh, take this or you're fired. We fucking remember. We see the damn border. We see these cities. We see the money going everywhere it don't need to be. We seen the fucking censorship. We fucking lived it. From your candidate. We see the fucking lies or the clever spins on the truth. We see how you pretend to care about children on a mountain of dead baby. You see how that make no sense? We see how you protest for kids. How you cheered on the murder mobile at the DNC. You see how that make no sense? Or which way did he go, George? Which way did he go? See how your party acts like they care about kids. At the same time they won't let kids, they cut the giblets off. Because I'm a watermelon. We see how y'all get offended by mean tweets. How unbecoming of a president. Wait, was this Joe Biden? Damn it, son of a bitch, damn. Oh, he's totally in his right mind. There were cannibals in Macy's. No joke, they hate my brother. You get mad if kids learn about God. Oh no, not the Bible. Read this book of perversion and nudity in books for kids. Because that's what children need. 101 ways to have sex. That's not offensive, but God, bad. We see how your candidate condemns the border wall over 50 times. And per CNN, now is using it in her campaign ads like she done it. While we on the subject, tell me something she has done. Tell me something that she's going to do. You don't wonder why she don't have no policies. It don't click for you all that the website's empty. And you think you should be able to vote. A vote for Camel Toe is a vote for Joe. We had enough Joe last lifetime. Do you all not look up nothing? She's doing cartwheels and flip-flops or everything she ever seen. See y'all's hypocrisy at every turn. We see your bullshit. That's all y'all stand up. I don't have 24 hours to recap the last 4 years for you. Where the fuck have you and everybody else's eyes been? Pull them out of the fucking dirt and look around. I can't do that for you. Just like how the left bitches about individual accountability. Until it comes to a gun. Then it's the fucking gun's fault. Try taking some for yourself and get fucking informed. Do the work and quit expecting people to do it for you. Only people who care about this country will go the extra step. And second thing, and last but not least, I don't give a damn what y'all rather me do. You understand me? I couldn't fuck off through the field of barren fucks, climb to the top of Mount Fuck, jump off without a fuck, and find a fuck to still give any of y'all. Not even while I'm fucking falling mid-fucking flight. You see what I'm fucking saying? You and everybody else can read as good as I can. Get to reading. Find a Republican fucking cares. Cause it ain't me. I'm gonna make bread with the Lord, cut jelly with the devil, go down to the nursing home, visit Joe, kick sand up on his court. Have a great day. Be blessed. Keep running this country in the ground, voting blue. I do not care. Yeah.
Pots.
Willful ignorance, I think, is what we're going with here. It has to be willful ignorance, or they're just truly ignorant. How can you not see that Joe Biden hasn't had more than 10 brain cells to rub together this entire time that he's been president for the past 3.5 years? How, and then all of a sudden you recognize once the news tell you?
Yeah.
That is willful ignorance, especially when there's people all around the world telling you that Joe Biden is not mentally healthy. He is not mentally capable. And so really it's kind of like what Ghost Pepper was saying, who's the crazy one? And just in case, here's willful ignorance is when someone intentionally avoids information that could make them aware of the negative consequences of their actions. How much more clear of a definition do we need to, I guess, place all of these people in a box? And when I say all of these people, I mean the people that wanted to tell people that they had no right to go get medical care because we didn't believe the science.
Yeah.
When the science, Anthony Fauci, was lying to us the whole time.
Exactly.
Yet we provided evidence. Hey, the sheet that comes with the bottle of the jibber jabber that they're putting in everybody is a blank piece of paper. There are no indications or warnings. It's just a blank piece of paper. It's fine. It's better than water, is what they wanted us to believe. Yet they were hiding the truth behind just smoke and mirrors. Smoke and mirrors the whole time. And these people bought it hook, line, and sinker because it made their worldview a lot more comfortable. Meanwhile, they were willing to put people in the electric chair, basically, because I know there was that experiment where they said that you could turn the electricity up. I wish I could remember the name of the experiment, where they turned the electricity up on people that weren't paying attention to the things that they were being instructed to do. And people didn't provide that moral objection, even though they knew it was wrong to hurt somebody else. That was an experiment done in the 60s. I know people know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But regardless, that's who we found out who these people are, that they would be willing to make your life miserable because they are too afraid or too scared to stand up for what they know is right.
Exactly.
They want other people to be miserable because they don't want to lose their comfort. Fuck you. Exactly. And the horse you came in on, because really you don't care about anything but yourself. Chachi says the internet is forever. No one will forget how stupid folks acted like sheep during the Rona. Yeah, I hope that nobody forgets. I know that the press is trying to make that whole thing disappear, but the good thing is nobody really cares about the press except for the people who need that narrative to be true.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, is they need a narrative to be true, as opposed to using their own eyes, their own ears, and what all that's connected to in the brain housing group here to actually formulate a thought.
Exactly.
And it was more than just trying to make people take a genetic experiment. It was easy. Like it's more than just the genetic experiment and the forced medical experiments on people. It's more than that. They told us to be quiet. They censored us. How much of it? It's still coming out every day that it was worse than we even imagined.
Yep.
Even though it's kind of difficult when you're the one that's getting silenced all the time, that was how much worse can it be? I wasn't allowed to talk. I wasn't allowed to say anything. I wasn't allowed to have an opinion because y'all didn't want to hear it. Well, I guess you got to hear it one way or another, and it may not be from me, but you got to hear it from the world around you.
Exactly.
Maybe people need to get off their God complex.
Yes.
So that way we can get on with making America great again.
Right.
And healthy again.
Earlier we were talking about love your neighbor, but you don't have to buy into their craziness. This is the video I have been I can't wait to play.
Okay.
So Sean Strickland is a UFC fighter and he is savage. Listen to this.
What? You mean a UFC fighter is savage?
Yep. You ready?
How about that? Yes.
10 years ago, to be trans was a mental fucking illness. And now all of a sudden, people like you have fucking weaseled your way into the world. You are an infection. You are the definition of weakness. Everything that is wrong with the world is because of fucking you. And the best thing is the world's not buying it. The world's not buying your fucking bullshit you're fucking peddling. The world is not saying, you know what? You're right. Fucking chicks have dicks. The world's not saying that. The world's saying, no, there are two genders. I don't want my kids being taught about, who they could fuck in school. I don't want my kids being taught about, their sexual preference. Like, dude, this guy is the fucking enemy. You want to look at the fucking enemy to our world? It's that motherfucker right there asking these stupid fucking questions.
Thoughts?
I wasn't really picking up on what he was getting at.
Oh, you thought he should have been more straightforward?
A little bit more, to the point
Yeah.
About what he thinks the problem is. Look, these are the things we haven't been able to say, going back to the whole censorship concept. Haven't been allowed to say anything about this protected class of people that nobody agrees should be a protected class of people. As a matter of fact, our heart goes out to them and we feel that they need some support from true medical professionals, as opposed to medical professionals who are trying to work on some kind of weird experiment that is proving time and time again that this gender affirming care is proven time and time again to actually cause more problems than what was there before. But then again, when you confuse diagnoses like depression with gender dysphoria, and there's more money for gender dysphoria than there is money for healing people. God, that's a weird concept. Why would we want our medical industry to heal people?
Exactly.
Because there's a lot more money for people not being healthy. That's weird. Anyways, but I digress. Yeah, maybe we should be able to speak the truth so that way we don't have weird people making people who are vulnerable, the most vulnerable in our society, filling their heads with a bunch of poppycock.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was pretty blunt.
He was.
He was pretty blunt. I appreciate that. And we need more of that.
Exactly.
And we need to not be fearful of getting ostracized from society, because you know what? The society will do that. And you know what that really creates?
What?
Atlas Shrugged.
Exactly.
Because all the people who are speaking the truth out there, the people who are putting the real information out there, they have a tendency to get pushed out of these corporate worlds, the HR world that we live in today. But the thing is if all the good people leave, then what's left? A bankrupt company. But we're kind of seeing that all over the place. It's more than just Biden, or actually Kamalanomics, really, if you think about it. It can't be Bidenomics because he doesn't even know how to add 1 and 1 to make 2. So Kamalanomics, which is what we've been in for quite some time now, this Kamalanomics is really going to encourage us to change. As miserable as things are, it's the way we get to the finish line in the end.
Yeah. So thank goodness Jenny, downloads videos, because
Right.
the old TikTok took down Christian's video, but she
No
sent
way.
it to me.
Woot
So
woot.
let's play it.
All right.
You ready?
Yes.
I'd like to talk about ivermectin real quick and take you a walk down memory lane, but hang in there because I got a twist at the end. I'm at the NIH.gov website, so this is an official government web page. Let me walk you through. Ivermectin, a potential anti-cancer drug derived from an anti-parasitic drug. So we know that it's not just an anti-parasitic, but it cures cancer as well. I'm going to walk you through which types. Ivermectin has a powerful anti-tumor effect, including the inhibition of proliferation and metastasis and angiogenic activity in a variety of cancer cells. So it just so happens that ivermectin cures throat cancer, brain cancer, colon cancer, prostate cancer, and many other forms of cancer. So why would they hold back ivermectin during the pandemic? Well, one of two things. 80% of Americans have active live parasites growing in their bodies. Our medical doctors understand this, and if they were to cure everybody of parasites, it would eliminate all of those symptoms that they've been putting Band-Aids on that make them trillions and trillions of dollars. Also, if ivermectin were to start curing people's cancer during the pandemic because people were taking it, that would eliminate the need for chemotherapy. So they stifled this as a known treatment for COVID for this very reason. But what is different now? Why are they able to tell us on the NIH.gov webpage? Well, I'll show you why. Francis S. Collins, MD, is stepping down as NIH director on December 19th, 2021. That was year one of the Biden administration. Dr. Anthony Fauci to leave NIAID at the end of December. This is December 7th, 2022. That is 2 years into the Biden administration. May 5th, 2023, CDC Director Dr. Rochelle Walensky announces today her intent to depart the agency at the end of June. This is now 3 years into Biden's term. July 24th, 2024, Michelle Tarver, Deputy Director for Transformation, will serve as Acting Director of FDA's Medical Devices. This is now the 4th year in Biden's term. Here we have September 1st, 2021, 2 more FDA vaccine leaders step down. 1st year of Biden's term. For those that have left the movement, out of all the fear, the crazy, the chaos, you knew that the storm was going to be tough. Some couldn't weather it. I get it. But the job is already done, and I'm showing you it's all being fixed behind the scenes. Why would Joe Biden fix that? Because Joe Biden isn't Joe Biden. He's been gone for a very long time now. I'm saying this because things are getting fixed. You just don't seem to be able to connect the dots. That's why I'm here doing it for you.
I'm so glad Jenny downloaded that and sent it to me.
That's good stuff there. Thank you, Jenny, for sharing that. Geez, so Christian is always amazing. Thank you, Christian, for spitting the truth out there. Obviously, it was more truthful than they were willing to accept. So, yeah, you know what? We're gonna play it anyway. So
we're gonna get it out there anyway.
Is it interesting that all these people have been bailing out?
Can you answer that question, please? She froze.
Okay, Steph, the cancers that he said, there is an entire list.
I'll put it over in Telegram.
It goes over everything, but that's because as I've been going through this conspiracy world, it seems like it's more parasite based. I mean, obviously we need to cut out sugars because sugar, like the white sugar, stuff like that, those sugars really do feed it. So we got to be careful about that and reduce the intake on that. But of course, an anti-parasitic is going to make a difference. It has to be fed on something, and I do believe that. Excuse
God
me.
bless you.
Thank you. Anyways, I do believe that that would be that it makes so much sense. As soon as Christian said it, it was like, oh my God, my mind's blown. It's of course they didn't want people using that because people would be healed of so much of the other stuff that we've been having problems with. What good is a pharmaceutical company that heals everybody and they don't need the pharmaceutical company anymore? I mean, it's pretty plain and simple as to how this one would work out. So how would they get that kind of power? Well, they sure do make a lot of money. Well, we know the Rockefellers started the pharmaceutical industry through trying to do something with all that Earl that really belongs to all of the people, not a few people who can buy some stuff off of the government because that land is on top of our land. This land is your land. This land is my land. That means that all of the natural resources probably belong to all of us because clearly it can be abused by major corporations, but major corporations got a reckoning coming, and I look forward to the death of the East India Trading Company.
You ready?
Yeah.
I got Kelly.
Good deal. Love Kelly.
Have you ever heard somebody say, I don't go to church because they're always asking me for money? That's all churches talk about. Money, money, money. Give me your money. You ever heard somebody say that? Because, I mean, you've never said it, right? Being a pastor myself, let me shed some light on why we talk about money so often. We want you blessed. You do understand, right, that it is a biblical principle that when you give, yes, your money, God will bless you in return. But you don't have to take my word for it. I'll show you in the Bible. In Malachi 3, under a call to repentance. And what does repentance mean? To change your mind and change your direction. Meaning this is a call to change your mind about what you think about money and how it works with God. In Malachi 3:8, God says to us, should people rob God? Yet you have robbed me. In what way have we robbed you, God? You've robbed me of tithes and offerings. Now, at first glance, we think, how are we stealing money from God? But please understand, that is not what this is talking about. When God says you've robbed me, what he means is you've robbed me an opportunity to bless you. You have to start thinking of giving your tithe or offering, your money, as a key that unlocks the door to give God access to your finances. Essentially, when you give, you are saying, God, I don't put anything above you, not even my money. The thing that everybody thinks we need more than anything else, I'm going to give it to you because you are my provider and you are all that I need. And what's amazing is this is the only place in the Bible where God says, put me to the test. Yeah, Kelly, well, that's the old covenant. We live by the new covenant now. Jesus didn't tell us to tithe. Jesus didn't even talk about tithing. Okay. I've heard this argument too. Now, did Jesus never talk about tithing? That's not exactly accurate. In Matthew 23:23, we see Jesus having a conversation with the Pharisees. And he tells them, yes, you should be tithing. So out of Jesus's own mouth, he's saying you should tithe. Yeah, Kelly, that was before Jesus died. The new covenant starts after his death. Oh, you know your Bible. You are absolutely correct. Under this new covenant, the Bible does tell us to give out of the goodness of our hearts. 2 Corinthians 9:7 says, everyone must give as he has decided in his heart, not reluctantly or under compulsion, for God loves a cheerful giver. So even under the new covenant, we are still supposed to be giving. Yeah, but it doesn't have to be 10%. You are absolutely right. It doesn't have to be 10%, but you do understand 10% is just the starting point. If you don't believe in the tithe as in 10%, you must be giving 25, 35, 40, 50%. Man, I'm impressed. The new covenant didn't do away with tithing. It amplified it. Now we're not giving tithes and offerings because we have to. We're doing it because we want to. And because we want to, we don't want to do the bare minimum. I want to give God everything. See, I've lived a life without tithing, and I've lived a life with tithing. And there is a huge difference. You can ask anybody that knows me. We used to struggle. My family struggled all the time, selling stuff, pawning stuff, just to pay for bills, groceries, whatever. However, once I started giving God access to my finances, and I told him, you are above everything in my life, including my money, and I started to give with a cheerful heart, God turned everything around. You see, the reason that most pastors are so passionate about you giving, it's not because we want your money. It's because we want to see you blessed. I want to see you walking in the freedom and the blessing and the favor that God promises us. And I know that his word promises us when we give our tithes and offerings, he will bless us. Now, look, I know there are some pastors out there that have horrible motives. They do just want your money. But the good news is, when you are giving to God, giving's not horizontal, it's vertical. When you give into a church with the wrong motives, God's not looking at that church's motives. He's looking at yours. Those churches and those pastors will be held accountable for what they did with the money you gave. Just understand, you didn't give it to them. You gave it to the Lord, and he sees your heart. So let me encourage you today. Don't let the enemy rob you of a blessing by stopping you from going to church simply because they're talking about money. You do know you don't have to give, right? You don't have to have God's hand of favor in your finances either. At the end of the day, it's your choice whether you give or not. I just want you to know you'll be missing out on one of the greatest promises of God over your life by not doing it. And if you're watching this right now and you say, you know what, Kelly, I want to tithe, I just can't afford to. I know it's cliche, but the answer is you actually can't afford not to. God's math does not work the same as ours. What you can do with 100% of your money doesn't even compare to what God can do with only 90% if you let him. And look, I'm not making this video so you'll give money to me. Your tithe needs to go to your church. I mean, every time you go out to eat, you just don't expect that meal to be free, do you? Nah, you always pay where you get fed. I truly hope you see my heart in this today. I want you to live as blessed and free as you possibly can. And I know for me, a huge part of that was when I learned about tithing. If you want to go deeper in understanding tithing, I have a full sermon on YouTube called Can You Really Rob God that breaks this down into full detail. It will go over what tithing means, what an offering is. Can your tithe and offering be acts of service? Does it have to be money? Go check out that message. I know it'll bless you today. There's a link in my profile. Let God be the Lord of your life in every area of your life today, including the hardest one to let go of, our money. Let him show you how good he can be in your life in that area too. And think about that for a minute.
Before I say thoughts, I want to say something real quick. Carol, I understand where you're coming from, but we are gathering right now. And when we talk about God, it's not about a building. It's about gathering together and having these kinds of conversations. So I completely understand. It's like what Bill said, you know, church and a building with pretty stained glass windows have nothing to do with each other. And that's exactly it. We come here together and we talk about God. So we're doing what we're supposed to do. And don't worry about, you know, anything else. You know, you're doing good. You're doing wonderful and you're amazing. And I get it because I grew up in the church, and when I was 16 years old, they had a guest preacher come in and he said, open up your wallets because God needs your money more than you do. And whoo, I tell you what, that turned me off. And so just know that I understand exactly where you're coming from. Thoughts?
God came down and spoke to me, and he said that I need a new private jet.
Yeah, I hate that shit. I hate it.
But somebody actually pulled that off.
Yeah, I know.
And got a private jet because he didn't want to get made fun of by the other, you know, private jet pastors, I guess.
Yes.
Whatever the case is. People are the steeple.
Mm-hmm.
And I do believe that to be true. I believe that that's the most important part. It's the people, because we help each other grow. I appreciate the praise that y'all are giving us and saying that, you know, part of, you know, your I guess connection with God and Christianity is here. I don't believe that we're a good example personally, but at the same time, I understand where you're coming from because it's difficult. It's difficult to go to church after church after church and find out that there is, you know, something very specific. Either it's politics, or they just want more money, or they just want this or that or the other thing. And none of it has anything to do with the Bible. And that can be off-putting. Jan says, people always judging, but will they be standing there with you in the end? Ignore everyone and do what you are to do and be a great witness to others.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. And that was a conversation that I was having because I understand there's a gentleman I was speaking to today, and he's not really much of a believer.
And this right here.
Go ahead.
Bethany says, how I tithe is between me and God. My religion is the relationship with him.
Mm-hmm.
Say it louder for the people in the back, Bethany.
Exactly. The relationship is with him.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I
Amen.
forgot where I was going, but back to the tithing. That's fine. So back to the tithing. Tithing can be you giving directly to whatever it is. So we give to the Bible app, the U version. We give to Kelly. We give to other people that preach to
Bishop.
us. That we give to people who we get
Feed our soul.
who feed our soul. And then on top of that, this was a conversation we had. There's tithing, and then what's the other one where you donate to the things that are like it's oh geez, I forgot.
I know. Me too.
But anyways, so we give to other things too, other charities that make sense. They may not be biblical, but they are doing the things
Right.
that are near and
Like
dear to us,
30,000.
like like the 30,000.org. And it has absolutely nothing to do with religion, but I do believe that that is part of the grand design that God has. And I believe that 30-1000.org deserves to be heard. I believe that that's a message that needs to get out, even though it's extra biblical. So where can church be? And this is kind of one of the things that I wanted to get to is church can be a group of 3 or 4 people that meet at different houses, every weekend, be it Saturday, or if you do the Sabbath on Sunday, whatever works for you and your little community of people, and you get together and you read the Bible and you discuss that would be an amazing thing. And I think that those are the things that is another version of church, because if you look at what the church was there buildings? Yes. But most people met in the house.
Yep.
I'm not mistaken. I kind of read that in the New Testament. So it's kind of how it's done. The church is wherever you go, but we also understand that we ourselves are the temple. And so if we're the temple, thank you, Maga Ange, Romans 12:2. If we recognize that we are the temple, then therefore the church goes with us everywhere.
Exactly. And speaking of what Aaron said right here, God gave you discernment so you don't give your tithing to assholes. Okay.
I mean, yeah, that's a way to put it.
Yeah, that is a way to put it. And I want to say that, and I know some of you guys in here like this person I'm about to talk about, but it's on my heart and I must talk about it. We follow a person called Parable of the Vineyard, and he does Torah
observant
Christianity, and he had put up a video of Greg Locke and Dean Odell talking about flat earth. Now Pastor Dean believes that it's flat earth because of what is in the Bible. Greg Locke does not. And
because of his interpretation of the Bible.
Because of his interpretation of the Bible. Hi, Miss Wendy.
Hey, Wendy.
And I will tell you that I used to love Greg Locke, but after seeing him throw a temper tantrum and throw this man out of his tent and act like a baby.
Hey, I look, let them decide for themselves.
Yeah.
It was very out of character of what I expected. And I think that that's probably the best way to put it. I have no idea where you're starting at on the video. But
I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to play it.
Oh, you're not going to play it?
No, I will put it in the Telegram channel.
We could probably put a YouTube link. It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's on YouTube. Surprise, surprise, they did. But a lot of the information about the Earth shape is usually under the search string of biblical cosmology, and it's a 4-hour video, and it comes up. If you just want the fireworks, go to the end, but there were some really sharp jabs throughout it. It was eye-opening, but I think it's worth a watch because it really does explain, and they do both use Bible verses to present their case. And then there are some things like for the flat, the firmament argument. There was a lot of stuff brought up that I think a lot of you have already seen in terms of NASA, stuff like that. But I think that it was an attempt was made. And I want to say that one of the big points about this is that the whole shape of the earth is very polarizing. And that's something that we need to avoid. And I will say that the way that video, the way this debate went versus how it should have been, like tons of great potential, but sadly, it turned very divisive. And it was kind of sad to watch two pastors go at each other the way it happened. But I think that it's important. And I think that we should watch videos like this with a discerning set of eyes. And the discernment that we're looking for here is how easy it can split people who agree that Jesus is our Savior, that he is the Son of God. And how the accusations can come out in an instant when we're angry. And these are the things that we really need to get control over, is our emotional reactions, because the emotional reactions, as opposed to the logical explanations and attempt to get an understanding or a common ground between people, how it can really go wrong. And I think that that's one of the main reasons to really watch this. But the fireworks are there, and it can be pretty disappointing. But I would highly recommend you watch. But if you just want the fireworks, go to the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
You ready?
Yep.
So I have a trailer about the J6 movie. You ready?
Yes.
Hiroshima, Nagasaki, the heat death of the universe. These are some of the deadliest days in history. But none of them compare to the most deadliest day. January 6, 2021. Coming soon in the most epic movie event since Robot Jocks, Left Behind, or maybe even Son of the Mask. The Babylon Bee investigates the darkest day in the history of democracy.
Where were you on January 6th?
In January?
I don't remember.
Storming the Capitol, baby. No.
Scary stuff like this happened.
Okay.
So on a scale of 9 to 10, how terrifying was what you just witnessed?
3?
I don't know.
We go on location. We bring you 100% true facts.
Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was murdered over 7 times.
We ask the tough questions.
Is it true that you have a Jewish space laser? This is incredibly boring. Could you explain it to me using Marvel characters?
We even go face to face with the scariest criminals you'll ever meet.
Are you the dangerous insurrection man?
Who's asking?
We're in. Into the lair of darkness I go. Darkness because he's a Republican, not because he's, never mind. Shame! Shame!
This fall, the only way you can save democracy is by becoming a member of the Babylon Bee. So you can see January 6th, the most deadliest day.
Where were you on January 6th?
I was in that mob that was going into the Capitol.
Thoughts?
January 6th, the deadliest day.
Yeah.
Thank God the Bee's doing it. Are they really doing a movie, or is that just like
Who knows? It's
I hope
Babylon Bee.
I hope it's real. I hope it's real, because I think America needs that to show how ridiculous it is. And nobody can show how ridiculous something is quite like the Babylon Bee. They have a knack for that, don't they? I really do hope that that's a movie, because I would actually pay to watch something like that. That would be awesome.
I know.
But it does make light of the mockery that is the mainstream media that has tried to push this ridiculous narrative, because it really wasn't much different than somebody picking up a dais and moving it a couple of feet and setting it down. And they made it sound like it was the end of the world. And then the comment about AOC, she was unalived 6 times, or seven times.
Yeah. Yeah. It's ridiculous.
It is.
It really is. So, you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Liberal logic. Now let's go.
Yeah, logic.
Liberals have now gotten to the point where they say they're going to vote for Kamala Harris because they don't believe that she's going to do what she says she's going to do. Like one of her biggest supporters, Mark Cuban, pointed out that taxing unrealized gains would kill the stock market. He understands that doing that is financial suicide for this country. But why is he still going to vote for her? Because he doesn't believe she will actually do it. That's where we are politically. We are at the point where liberals are saying her proposals would destroy our economy, but I'm going to vote for her because I don't think she'll actually do it. That is fucking insanity. You have to take her proposals, the things she says she's going to do, the things she repeats at every fucking rally that she's going to do, and then do some mental gymnastics to be like, I don't think she'll actually do it, so I'm going to vote for her. How fucking stupid do you have to be? And just for all you people who think taxing unrealized gains for people that are worth more than 100 million is going to like yield some shitload of money, according to every fucking economist out there, the best case scenario would be that it would yield enough money to run the federal government for 3 days. She would be risking collapsing the entire US financial system for 3 days worth of federal spending. And that's the best case scenario. The reality is that the stock market would completely collapse, as everyone who would be lined up to be taxed would just withdraw that money and keep it to themselves, therefore depriving the stock market of badly needed investment. And while y'all don't believe in trickle-down economics, I can promise you that will trickle down fuck the economy. It's just so fucking dumb. He said she wants to tax unrealized gains. Even Mark Cuban, her biggest supporter, says that will destroy the stock market. Y'all mentally go, I'm still going to vote for her because I don't think she'll do it. If this is your thought process, you're an idiot.
Thoughts?
He brought up collapsing the financial system. I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that this whole collapsing the financial system, this talk about it, is actually kind of a predictive programming, because I fully expect a complete crash of the financial system. Who was it? Jamie Dimon just sold 1 million shares of JP Morgan Chase. 1 million shares, 110 million, I think, is the value of that. Guy's the CEO of Chase.
Yeah.
He hasn't sold.
So many.
He hasn't sold any stock, and he's not the only CEO. Did you know that the Waltons are selling off their stock of Walmart? Now, why would a Walton sell off Walmart? What does that tell you? That these people are expecting to come down the pipeline. And what do they do with it? Have a feeling they're moving it into precious metals because, well, that's a good hedge against a collapsing economy. So that way, you know, in your little crystal palaces with all your billions of dollars and everything will be fine. And you have your bars of gold that you're sitting on, you know, like Ebenezer Scrooge, you know, and then once the dust settles, then you can go ahead and snatch everything up because you have all those ill-gotten gains that you transferred into gold. So that way you can go ahead and continue to make everything miserable for everybody else. So that way you can continue to be at the top of the trash heap that you built.
Mm-hmm.
Good job. You won the trash heap, but it was nice before you got a hold of it. So you suck. Anyways, that is a warning. And they keep talking about these things that Kamala's doing. You know, I don't believe she's not really going to do these kinds of things. That would collapse the economy. Why would she do that? Well, why the hell would she even say it?
Exactly.
Why would she even say it to begin with, knowing that the smart people that are the smart people that are, you know, have the billions of dollars, that they even believe that it would collapse the economy? So why do it? Because that's what she actually intends on doing. How many things have they said, oh, I was just kidding, but then they end up doing that? Why do you think that they're just copying everything that Trump says, but we know they're not going to do it?
Exactly.
It's because they're going to collapse the economy, but the dollar necessarily has to go away. It has to collapse because it's a fake paper fiat currency that has no value to it whatsoever, other than the fact that they say so. And so that does not help anything out at all. So what do we need? We need to make sure that what these people are doing is not profitable to them in the future. But at the same time, they read the tea leaves. So what can we do in the meantime? We can base our decisions off of what they're doing, which is the exact opposite of what they're saying. So watch out for the economy.
See what Dad says.
That's what it takes. Millions of idiots. And sadly, there's a never-ending supply.
Yep. So Christian put this video up. Watch carefully.
Drop boxes are safe. Watch again.
You can see this woman right here casting her vote. Did you vote for Reagan or Jimmy Carter? Carter. Okay. We don't want to get too personal with people here, but you can see there's actually.
Did you see that?
How many ballots was she stuffing in there?
Exactly.
And she's voting for Carter, huh?
Mm-hmm.
She knew what the code word was, and she was putting it out there. Wonder what all those Carter votes are actually going for. But yeah, that was pretty interesting, isn't it? And right there, live on camera. So what is that? Is that a disclosure? Is that to show people that are watching Fox News that, hey, look, it's right here in front of your face, right in front of your face, they're cheating on live TV, on the legacy media. They don't care.
They don't care.
But you've seen it with your own eyes, and people that were watching that have seen it with their own eyes. They're cheaters who are going to cheat. We expect this to happen.
Yep.
But I don't think they will prosper.
Exactly. You ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
Let's do it.
All right, I got a question for the ladies out here. And this is for the men. I got a question for you to help the men. Roughly 54,000 people are following me. 40% are men. So that's tens of thousands of men. Not counting any additional views this video is going to get. I want to know, what are you looking for in a man? This is for the women. What are you looking for in a man? Now, nothing negative, derogatory. We all have trauma and past relationships. We're tearing each other down enough. I want this to be a positive platform. Let's look at, from today on, from here on, what are you looking for in a man? Not what you've been through in the past, but what are you looking for? These men are going to fall in three categories. They're going to be the ones right down the middle that are right where they need to be based off the comments. You're going to have some that are going to need to step up based off the comments. They're going to realize they need to step up. And then you're going to have the other lane of guys that are probably going to realize they've been insecure about things they don't need to be insecure about. Let's do something productive and help these men out. To the comments. 3, 2, 1, go.
Ready, go.
Thoughts?
He asked women. Why the hell are you going to ask me
Well,
thoughts?
I have a man.
Okay, well, what are you
but-
looking for in a man? About 5'8", brown hair, brown eyes.
Cute.
Kind of a smart ass.
Very intelligent.
Sometimes.
You know, and that's the thing, is stop bringing your past relationships into a new one, because it doesn't work.
No, it doesn't work. I tried that. It sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
No.
Yeah.
I think that was probably one of the most important points. He said, what are you actually looking for? I don't want to know what happened in the past. That was then. This is now. That was, oh, I learned some red flags. Let's move on and make sure that I pay attention to those red flags moving forward in the future.
There you go, Hope.
Hope says, a man that loves God more than he loves me seeks him daily. Amen. Boy, ain't that the truth.
Oh, you ain't even lying. That uniform, woo,
Didn't hurt.
did not hurt.
Didn't hurt
No,
none.
every time he got dressed in the morning, I did not want him to leave. He looked so damn good. So damn good.
I
And when
love
he
you.
got back from Iraq, woo.
I know. I was actually
boy,
skinny.
Boy,
Ish.
howdy. He was all buff and just, damn, even more gorgeous.
Anyway. Well, ladies, I think that was the important part is what's important to you. And loving God more than he loves anything else is an excellent start.
Mhm.
It really is an excellent
It
start
really
because if he
is.
does love God that much, then you know that he's going to lead you in the way that he should, or at least that's the way it's supposed to be. Is it always going to work out? Probably not, because nobody's perfect. It doesn't mean that it's going to be miserable, but is there a Prince Charming out there? I'm going to go on a limb and say there's no Prince Charming and there's no Snow White. And so
Yeah.
we deal with the very human that we are there with, and we do everything we can to grow during that. But we must listen to the red flags. And that's where the no, I'm lazy, F. Clint.
He does work out.
Anyway,
He still looks good.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Ghost Pepper says he's hot and spicy.
He's hot and spicy, ladies.
Mhm.
Let's move on.
There you go.
I love a man with a chainsaw. My wood burning stove really is wonderful. See, I'm kind of jealous. I want a wood. Well, we both want a wood burning stove, something fierce, because, well, I can trust that that's going to work and they're not going to try to cut the gas off of that. But I'm sure they'll make using even felled trees for fuel will be outlawed or something. But I just don't believe that's going to be happening in the future. But I do think that we should go back to something a lot more environmentally friendly. Dad says, for ear information.
I think
For your information, FYI, Elon Musk shaking hands with Zuckerberg, saying he just bought and is making it official. He just bought Facebook 1 hour ago. Make it what? Ain't no way.
I'll have to look into that after the show.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Pay attention to this because this is important.
This post is important, and this is shit we need to seriously talk about. If you haven't heard, a terrorist organization was fixing to kill a bunch of Jewish people in America. If you are Jewish living in America, or if you're in an area that lives around a high concentration of Jewish people in this country, you may seriously be in danger as we come up on the 1 year anniversary of the October 7th attacks. Prime example, New York, which was the target location. Roughly 1.5 million of the 7 million in this country reside. Had the officials not caught these people, some of y'all might have been dead next month. You need to listen up. A 20-year-old Pakistani man named Khan, hard to say how many people's involved, to murder a mass amount of Jewish people in a terror plot, what he claimed to be the largest attack on American soil since 9/11, on the anniversary of October 7th, just for symbolism. And of course, these people can come and go as they please. Orders are like a 7-Eleven, open 24/7. Thankfully, Canada is doing something right. An undercover agent's been investigating this for months, and he was caught about 12 miles from the border of Canada. Now, this is a breaking story, and of course, you know they won't tell you everything. I think it's a good idea as we come up on the anniversary of the October 7th attack. Everybody stays very vigilant, very aware. You know what I'm saying? Very demure, and even more fucking mindful. Because let me tell you how in-depth this was. There were tons of weapons involved. AR-15s. You name it, they were getting it. Plan was a mass shooting. Concentrated sites, synagogues, etc. They could do the most damage. They were even going to be smuggled in by human traffickers to avoid the law. But please keep telling us human trafficking is a conspiracy. There's many paths to get into the swamp. Prime example, why your paper laws don't mean shit. Let me tell y'all something. If a terrorist organization can sneak these weapons in here under your nose, you're going to need all the AR-15s. AK-4711, give them all to me. At this rate, we're going to have to tape them to the jet skis and hit the water, get ready for battle on the swamp. They knew what buildings to attack, when and what time to attack them. They'd already done the damn recon. Some of y'all probably walked right by them. They knew what apartments to rent. These people were professional terrorists. Now, allegedly, this is the ringleader, and hopefully the threat is over, but you never know. Words of my granny, this country is a sight to look at. I just think it's a bunch of horse shit. And Jewish people in America especially. While you all condone these anti-Semitic behaviors with your pro-Hamas bullshittery, disguised as pro-Palestine shittery. Stay the hell out of it. You egging these radicals on. The Jewish people here especially didn't have shit to do with what's going on over there. This is literally the essence of guilty by association. This is the same type of shit that happened after 9/11. You youngins don't remember that. People were ganging up and beating up people. Their eyebrows were too thick. Their mustache was too dark. Had one of them things on their head. Some of them got beat to death. I don't need to pick up a fucking book. We know what radicalism looks like. Against fucking innocent people after a damn tragedy. Nobody can be naive enough to think this is the only plot that may be plot. Less than a month to the October 7th anniversary, it will be symbolic to all the would-be terrorists. Stay smart. Stay safe, stay aware, stay packing. Radicals are everywhere. This could have been disastrous, and it might still damn be. That's your PSA, go with Lord.
Thoughts?
So, I'm trying to gather my thoughts here. Hold on, let me go over it because I was paying attention to all of the things. I know that makes you so upset.
It's okay.
Anyways, my God, could you give me a refresher real quick, please?
They caught a terrorist cell.
Okay, the terrorist cell. Thank you very much. Okay, so the terrorist cell.
Good night, Dad.
The paper laws don't mean anything. We know this. It's for some reason the left doesn't seem to understand that paper laws don't mean anything, and that you can put a gun free zone, or a pew pew free zone sticker on a window, and it's not going to make a big difference other than to bring the problems to the pew pew free zone. We understand this. And of course, they're going to be going after the Jewish community. They've hated the Jewish community. Of course, people hate the Jewish community because of the Bible and everything. I don't understand it. I know that there's some people in the Jewish community who have decided to band together and F the rest of the world when the rest of the world is like F them. But those people that aren't understanding the message that Jesus brought, which was of love and forgiveness and all these other things, that's how we get grafted into Israel, the people, not the nation. That's how we get grafted into it. These people aren't paying attention to that because their ego gets in the way. And so they're going to do things their own way that are going to mess everything up for everybody else. So what do? We make sure that we aren't part of the problem and that we're trying to spread that peace and love around the world. The message that we're supposed to be, the good news. Just spread the good news, right? Now, this is a continuation of the division that has been fostered and cared for so greatly by the powers that be to separate the people that live within this country despite our religious differences, because this nation was founded on religious freedom. We're all of an Abrahamic faith, so we have that connecting tie that we should be focusing on as opposed to the differences that separate us. But we seem to be focusing on the differences that separate us. Obviously, we don't need that. I know it pisses me off too, but what do you want me to do about it? I don't know if y'all can hear the cat or not. It sounded like it. So anyway, we need to make sure that we are countering the division with the love that we need to have.
Yeah. You ready?
Yes. Please.
What they're doing is, this is pretty wild because there's a radio station in San Diego that is a Mexican radio station. This guy was on the Mexican radio station, is explaining how we do it. He's like, he's gone back 4 times that month. So every time he crosses over, he gets $2,000.
He's gaming it.
So he's gaming. He made $8,000 in a month from the federal government.
You almost like, what do? You set up, because back in the day, you know, when there's, you know, I don't know everything, obviously, but like maybe the similar time in American history would have been the early 1900s. And you had all those Europeans coming over on the boats to work over in the U.S.
That's how my family got here.
Yeah, and everybody went through Ellis Island or somewhere like it where you go in and you got some sort of papers.
Yeah, it was pretty easy.
And
honestly,
yeah,
they
and
really
they
check.
at least though, you know, they got you, like they got a name.
Yeah.
And they
not even they kind of people changed
it.
Yeah,
they changed it right there if it was like too hard to pronounce.
Yeah,
sometimes.
that's a lot of people did that.
Thoughts?
Immigration has been an interesting topic with this nation since, well, its inception. And we, too, are immigrants in the land that we live in. And the responsibility that has is that we take care of this land and that we create a land that is, you know, for everybody's benefit within reason, right? But the immigration has like rules, and those rules are in place so that way we can build the nation that it's supposed to be, not the nation that it's become. But this is what we see is the fruits of the labor of not having a system that's going to provide that balance and those checks against people who have dreams other than an American dream. And it was that assimilation, and that's how America became the great melting pot. You don't hear about the great melting pot anymore. Apparently, that is a racist term, to be in a melting pot where we all come together and become one. But, you know, hey, the symbology makes sense to me, so I'm going to stick with it, because it's not about making people not or something that they're not. It's about making people a part of something greater than what they were as an individual before. Aaron says, I'm not an immigrant in the land I live in. Some of my ancestors, going back to when it was British owned, were, but I was born here. Fair enough. We are Native Americans in that regard, that we are born native to this land. But that division, and that division is there for a reason, because we are different. We are very different, each and every one of us individually, but with cultures, with heritage, with just the food we eat, the clothes we wear, all of it's different. And that's what's supposed to come together. This land is all of our land. And the only way we can fix that is to recognize that we are immigrants in this land. And even the Native American perspective of is we are only borrowing this place from our posterity. And that's the message that we've lost, is that we're only borrowing this place from the people that come behind us. So it's our responsibility to create something better for them to build upon. That's why there were projects like the Notre Dame that took hundreds of years to build, because they were building something greater than what they knew they could do at that point in time. And this is the mentality that we as Americans used to have, and this is the mentality that we will have again moving forward in the future. It's just not right now. And that's because everything's gotten out of whack, because people think they can move here and just continue to do whatever it is they want.
Exactly.
And that's not how it works, because I know that when the Italian side of the family came to this country, they weren't allowed to speak Italian because we're Americans and Americans speak English. That was hammered into our head. And that was one of the things that bound everybody together, is a common language, along with the common laws and the agreement to those laws. Nowadays, people don't feel that it's important to become a part of wherever you're going to because you came from somewhere else that you didn't like. We don't want it to be like that place. Otherwise, we would have gone there.
That's what Aaron says.
Aaron says, I disagree, Santino, that we're all immigrants, but I tend to talk a lot, so I'll try to be more quiet. You don't have to be more quiet, man. No, I don't want anybody to be more quiet. As a matter of fact, I want to hear differing opinions, because I know that I'm not 100% accurate or right on everything. Certainly not everything. But I try to, have an open mind to how other people perceive things, because it always gives me an opportunity to grow. And that's what I'm looking for, those opportunities to grow. And if my opinion is trash, then I'd like to know that.
Yeah.
So that way I can fix myself, because I can't fix myself or my thought process if people aren't willing to have that conversation and willing to speak up. And that's why this country has gotten to where it's at, because people are too worried about courtesy, as opposed to saying, I believe differently.
Yeah.
It's okay to disagree. It's okay to have a conversation. And that's what we need to get comfortable with again. Aaron says, thanks. That means a lot to a guy who's been told to shut the F up a lot. Yeah, well, you know what? Not here, man.
Not here.
No, not here. It's, just be respectful. That's all we care about.
Yeah. You ready?
Yep.
Got Tucker and Vivek.
All right.
And I wouldn't even bring up your book, except I love it. It's called Truths. What are the truths, Vic? God is real. There are two genders. Fossil fuels are a requirement for human prosperity. Reverse racism is racism. An open border is not a border. Parents determine the education of their children. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind. Capitalism lifts us up from poverty. There are 3 branches of government in the United States, not 4. And the U.S. Constitution is the strongest and greatest guarantor of freedom in human history.
I love that.
Thoughts?
That pretty much hits the nail on the head with so many of the issues.
Mhm.
But that's why so many people like Vivek. We'll see how he turns out moving forward in the future. Maybe he's had a chance to grow. Maybe he sees the light. I hope so, because we need people that actually believe what he's saying. Sadly, the only person that we've really seen that we trust to this point is Trump. It would be nice if we had more people like that.
It would be nice.
So hopefully, as we move forward, we, see more people turning to this thought process and following through with the principles that Vivek was just talking about. And that it's not just politician crap.
Exactly.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I put no faith in man, but we'll see how it turns out.
I think he's going to be in Trump's cabinet.
I believe he's going to be in Trump's cabinet, and I have a feeling that it's going to be a rather significant cabinet appointment. I think that he has lots of political savvy and has the ability to get a lot of things done. And so he would be a tremendous ally if his heart's really in it. But we've also seen so many things about him. But you know what? We can let it go and see how he works it out in the end. Aaron says, I think Vivek, along with Elon, would be good to streamline and correct the broken government, the safe nets and regulatory agencies, so they are in alignment with the Constitution. I do like him as a person so far, and I will agree with you on that. I do seem to like him as a person. Don't know how I feel about his politics, but so far so good. And I think that he could really be a go-getter in terms of cleaning house. Yeah.
I do too.
Steph says, I think it's going to take us a little while to trust again in people in government positions. And I would agree with that, Steph. I don't know if we should ever trust anybody in a governmental position just because they are holding on to power. And people in power, let's see, well, what was it Lincoln said? Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Yep. And that corruptive nature of power is something that we should not be trustworthy of, and not necessarily the people, because we understand people are peoply and they make human mistakes. And I'm sure that the temptation when you have a lot of power presented to you can be great. Fortunately, Trump has been able to, at least up to this point, resist that temptation. And praise be to God that he is that way.
Yeah.
Trusting is where we went wrong in the first place. Yes, it is, Aaron. Trusting is exactly where we went wrong in the first place. Tracy says term limits for the House and Senate. I respectfully disagree. I believe that term limits would have prevented us from having
hot wings, Bill. Hot wings. Do not put ribs in the air fryer. Go ahead, Santino.
What was I saying?
Term limits.
Term limits. Thank you. I believe that would have prevented us from having a Jim Jordan, a Rand Paul, a name whoever has been saving us. Kennedy, Senator Kennedy. These people probably saved our biscuits. And if we did term limits,
we
wouldn't have had them. Yeah. And that is a terrifying prospect. What we need is the voting to go back to the way it was. That senators are appointed, repeal the 17th Amendment and make senators appointed by the state legislatures the way it was designed, because the states are disenfranchised by the 17th Amendment, an entire voting block. And if the states would have appointed the senators, in which case the laws were that the legislature would vote on these things, we never would have had Obamacare. We wouldn't have had a lot of the big pork barrel anything, because the state legislatures wouldn't have gone along with it. It created more eyeballs to look at it, to create some buffer space so that way the people could actually get the real scoop as opposed to just getting whatever the tell-lie vision told them that we needed. So I believe that if we didn't have the 17th Amendment, I don't think we would have had Obamacare. Probably wouldn't have had Obama. And then on top of that, I believe that the congressional seats, that the apportionment needs to be significantly less, and that we need a lot more Congress people. And I think that that would fix a lot of problems, and the Congress people would be a lot more responsive to the people that are there. And that, I believe, is probably one of the more important changes that needs to happen moving in the future. I'm going to share the 30,000.org. And let's see. So I think that if you go through that 30,000.org, it explains a lot about why I feel the way I do in terms of not having term limits, and how going back to the original intent of the framing of the Constitution and the structure of this nation will save us quicker than any of these other harebrained ideas that they're coming up with, because they discussed all of these kinds of things to include term limits in the Federalist Papers. And the Federalist Papers are what truly explained to us why they did the things that they did. And we got away from that. And the Supreme Court even stopped looking at the Federalist Papers when that was what they specifically made their rulings on, were the conversations that were done, because the Federalist Papers were done in the newspapers so that way the people would understand the government that we were going to be under moving forward, because they weren't hiding shit from us like the people that are in government now. We don't need our government hiding stuff from us. We need the government to be more transparent than anybody else. And it's about time that they start becoming transparent, and that going back to the original principles will actually fix the problems that we have, and not these newfangled ideas that they're presenting, because they will only cause more problems without righting what we had ruined before. Jan says, need everything. Every law goes back through Congress for approval, like it used to be. Thank you, Jan.
Yep. Sending military to areas without going through Congress is wrong.
Yeah. 90 days. Like that's what the Marine Corps is for, is for short term. We got a problem. It needs to be dealt with, and it needs to be dealt with before congressional approval happens. That's what the Marine Corps was for. America's Expeditionary Force.
And Tracy says, okay, but these people have been holding some seats for like 30 years.
I agree. And I think that if the congressional districts were smaller, that would fix a lot of problems. That would, because if the congressional district was 30,000, let's just go off of that, right? Then that means that congressman or congressperson was in the area that they represent, which used to be the way it was. Then you could knock on their door and say, Dave, what are you doing?
You see what Ange says? She had to jump in.
Go ahead. Please read it.
She said, I had to jump in and say that when a member is caught doing wrong, they should be convicted, and that would stop all or some or all corruption.
I agree. And that's why we were sold the Federal Bureau of Investigation, is because they were supposed to be watching these people for the corruption. Sadly, they became the corruption brokers. Some of them. Usually up very high enough to actually cause those problems.
Exactly.
All right. Ready?
Yep.
I'm usually a strong person, but do you know what makes me sad? It's when I give my best and still feel useless. I push myself, pour my heart into everything I do, and strive to make things better, yet sometimes it feels like all my efforts amount to nothing. It's like I'm fighting so hard, but the results don't match the energy I put in, and that can be incredibly disheartening. There's a deep frustration that comes with knowing you've done everything you could, yet still feeling like you've fallen short. It's not about giving up. It's about that gnawing sense of inadequacy, the feeling that maybe, despite everything, it's just not enough. It's a tough pill to swallow, especially when you're used to being strong, holding it all together and always pushing forward. But even in those moments, I remind myself that strength isn't just about always succeeding. It's about continuing to give your best, even when the odds seem stacked against you. It's about recognizing that feeling sad or useless doesn't define my worth. It's just a moment, and I'll rise from it stronger, ready to keep trying because that's who I am.
Okay.
Oh, there you are. She showed up.
I did. So I picked this one because I'm that way. If I don't make 100 on an exam, I get mad at myself. You know, if I do something just a little bit wrong, I get upset with myself. If dinner isn't perfect, if I did, too much salt or not enough salt or whatever the case may be, I would really start getting down on myself. And this man sitting across from me has helped me so much because I'm not perfect and I'm going to make mistakes, but that's how you learn and that's how you move forward. And so just remember that even if you have a moment of feeling like, wow, I'm not good enough, stop it. Just know that it's a learning experience and that you can move forward. And you're not perfect. The only perfect person that ever walked this earth, they crucified him. So we're not perfect, and it's okay to make mistakes. It's not okay to make the same mistake over and over and over again. But when you learn from those mistakes, that's when you know you're growing. So just know it's okay. It's okay not to be perfect because we're not. We really aren't. But it is okay to learn from it, and it's okay to feel those emotions. It's okay to be sad, but just remember, it's even better to smile and be in joy because that's what God wants for us, is for us to be in joy. Seasoning?
He does want us to be in joy. And being in joy shouldn't be found in whether or not we, did something to our level of what we felt it should be, our level of perfection. That's setting ourselves up for failure. That's denying our very real humanity and that we're not perfect. And sometimes it can be disheartening because we know we can do better. And that's okay to know that you can do better. But we still need to give ourselves that grace. You got to give yourself that grace. And giving yourself grace is probably the more important thing that you should be learning at that moment. And that's a difficult pill to swallow.
It is.
It's a jagged little pill.
I have it on a Post-it note.
What?
Allow yourself grace.
Oh, you do, don't you?
So that I can remind myself.
So allow yourself grace.
Yeah.
God loves you either way. Why do you have to beat yourself up? What, you know more than he does?
Right? I don't think so. I know I don't anyway. Just speaking for me personally.
So it's not easy. But you have to understand that you're perfect exactly the way you are. Each and every one of you and myself. I have to remind myself of this because I know that I could have done a lot better. Well, you were focused on other things and you learned a lot since then. And that's okay.
Yep.
Because you're not making the same mistakes over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
It's about growth.
It is.
And once you recognize that the growth is more important than the result, that'll help. The other thing is recognizing that life is a journey, not a destination. You don't get somewhere, okay, I win. Wee-hee. No.
Yeah.
No. It's about the journey. It's about going through the experiences that life has to offer and counting it all joy, even though we would like it to have ended differently than it did. But we also recognize that things happen the way they do because of the plans that are set forth for us in the future.
Yep.
Have faith in the process, friends.
Mm-hmm.
Everything will be fine. And each one of you is perfect, no matter how flawed you think you are.
Exactly.
Your flaws are perfect.
Yes. Bethany says, grace is one of the best gifts we are taught. We need to use it.
Amen.
Exactly. And I see that, Aaron had said, I've been that way for several years now. Things that gave me a lot of joy have become chores. Let me tell you something. Joy is a choice.
It may not seem like it in the
May
moment.
not seem like it in the choice or at the time, but it's okay to be in joy, even if someone is driving crazy and driving you nuts.
That's what
on
we've been
the
working on this
freeway.
week.
Yeah. Stay in joy because it's worth it for your soul. It's not about them. It's about you.
Not going to ask when you get to the pearly gates. They're not going to say, well, did you fix that person that was driving like a jackass on the freeway?
Exactly.
No. Oh, well, you can't come in.
Exactly. He doesn't care. He's not going to ask about other people. He's going to ask about you.
You're all perfect. I hope you all recognize that.
Yes.
And we love each and every one of you. And we'd like to thank you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment and give us that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, they have like 2,700 things you can hit. Just pick one. Just pick one.
Pick one.
Doesn't matter.
Whatever. All right. Anyways, thank you all for joining us yet again. We do truly appreciate each and every one of you. We love you all.
Wait, before you say that, can I say something real quick?
Make it fast.
Okay. Thank you very much for everything that you do because you have such great analysis. And I just wanted to give you some kudos in front of everybody because I even learned stuff doing the show with you. So I just wanted to say thank you very much. You're amazing. And I'm very blessed to have you as my husband.
I appreciate that. If it's right and it's good, then it's not me. It's him. If it's wrong, I'll take responsibility for that one.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, thank you all for joining us. We love you all. Have a great night. God bless and be safe.